Hi, Scorpio. Welcome to your end of December 2020 General Tarot Update. It's Raina here. Well, this is one of the few times when I'm actually recording something where it actually is what I say it is. I tend not to do readings too far in advance, but if I do middle of the month, it's probably going to be the early part of the month. And now we really are in at the end of December in a lot of ways. I'm recording this on the 19th, so I mean that's pretty well. Maybe it's kind of middle, right? Whatever. Scratch that. But anyway, there is a full moon coming up in a fellow water sign of Cancer, and this is happening on either the 29th or the 30th, depending on where you live in the world. And this is going to be, I believe, at about 8 degrees of Cancer. So for some of the early degree Scorpios, this will fall in your ninth house, which is the house of expansion. It's Sagittarius's house. And this is a house that's philosophical, spiritual, and the full moon can bring those intuitive hits, those spiritual downloads that can guide your life, that can give you that, kind of guidance if you're caught between two worlds or, a decision that you have to make. And if you maybe you're finishing a graduate program or an undergrad program, or you know, I went back to school in my 30s. I graduated in December. You can, you don't just graduate in June. Um, and just the full moons can bring things to completion. They can bring things to a climax. So any kind of like, if you finished a book, maybe you're publishing a book. I mean, who knows? It can run the gamut. But most of you, I believe, are going to actually have this in your eighth house. And Scorpio, you rule the eighth house. So this is, deep diving, kind of unearthing some of those deeply buried emotions that are hard to face. It could be a very emotional time because this is also the water element. And, Cancer is very um, sensitive. And so the full moon can bring that sensitivity. So it should be very interesting for all of you. Okay, so here we go. Let's see what is going on here. Why do I always get like, well, it always seems like I get relationship things, even when I'm doing a general forecast. I don't know. Okay. The heart of the matter is um, the hermit. And the hermit is a card of contemplation. But it's, you can see that lantern is supposed to be the inner light. And I would say that the star, I could be wrong about this, but I feel like the star is the guiding force within a person specifically. So their own guiding force versus, following somebody else's path. And I feel like in this particular reading, it's more of a relationship issue, but you can certainly apply it to any area of your life, Scorpio. If you feel like you've been living somebody else's life, um, that may be problematic for you now. And sometimes people go down a path and they might not even question their choices until they get to middle age sometimes. And that's why we call it a midlife crisis, because it takes time for people to really come into their own. Some people, from a very young age, they know what they want to do. They know how they're going to get there. And it's amazing to see those kind of people. And then there's the rest of us, right? um, but in general, the hermit is all about maybe even spending more time alone, not wanting to be with others as much as you normally do. And I tell you the truth, I think of Scorpio as one of the more lone wolf type of signs. If you disagree with me, comment below. But I, just in my observation of people, I'm not saying that you're completely isolated or anything like that. And I do think all water signs are people persons, if you want. But I still maintain that I think Scorpio is, one of those signs that is very confident being alone, isn't afraid to be alone. In the past position, we have the Four of Wands, and this is the card that represents the happy home. Now, it's interesting. The Hermit is flanked by two cards that I would associate with, home life, children, especially the Six of Cups and things of that nature. And somebody told me that the Six of Cups was actually Scorpio, and I just totally didn't believe it. And I looked it up, and the first thing I saw was that it was associated with Scorpio. I still believe it's Cancer because of what it represents. The childhood is one of the areas, but I just want to let you know that they are saying it's Scorpio, or I saw something that said Scorpio because obviously, since that's your card, that would be significant. And by the way, the Hermit is connected to Virgo. I don't know if I said that at the very beginning, but if there's a Virgo person in your life. But the bottom line is that these two cards that are flanking the Hermit involve children and the happy home. And the Hermit is not going to be a family person, obviously. Do you ever see people that are monks with a big family? Nuns, monks. I mean, there's a reason why they have to take a vow of celibacy and all that kind of thing, because um, that kind of lifestyle would distract them from what they're doing. So maybe there's this push and pull of the family life versus your own spiritual growth. That could certainly be what's going on. But I almost see too, um, this, if you had what you thought was a happy marriage, but there's really the soulmate type of person out there, that might be, um, what is kind of bothering you if you are married, or, and, the equivalent, living with somebody, what have you, and maybe you have a, happy situation, but you don't feel that deep, deep, deep connection, then it, and you would know because you're a very psychic sign. So you would kind of get that feeling, and you might say something is missing. And Scorpios tend to be very um, extreme. Either they really love something or they really are indifferent to it, if not downright, hatred. I'm kind of semi joking, but you know what I mean. Um, and I mean, maybe at one time you really thought that you were happy with a particular person, or you were sold on this outer concept, but you finally have realized that this person cannot take the place of your soulmate if you already have one, or that you sense that there is somebody who is out there. Because when I do private readings, like readings, but whatever. Sometimes people will say they're dreaming about this person or what have you, and I find that very fascinating because I have never experienced that. So it's interesting that there are some people who they know that there's somebody waiting out there for them. And that's different than hoping. This is actual this sense that this is going to happen. But if you had somebody from your past that was the one that got away, that could be it too. And maybe the thing is that the hermit's like, I don't really want to be with anyone until I'm with my soulmate. What crosses you is the empress in the challenge position. And so, how I read that card, the empress um, upside down, is like a hoochie mama type of mentality. And Scorpio people sometimes write to me and they say, Scorpios always said that they're connected to sex, but I've been celibate for a long time, or I take sex very seriously, and I totally agree with that. I don't think that Scorpios are that casual about that. But one of the things that can happen sometimes is, I think, and I'm speaking of the female Scorpios, so I can't speak for the males, but just is that there is this enjoyment in being the seductress, in being that femme fatale. So, ask yourself, if you are a female Scorpio, if you enjoy that kind of power. See, because Scorpio is connected to power with Pluto. If you enjoy having that power over somebody, overpowering them with your seductive tendencies, the Empress in the challenge position can be using the feminine wiles for ulterior motives. And, so sexuality is used, or rather, you could say abused. And, that is not where it's at, that isn't a good thing. And I would say, I mean, I'm not putting a value judgment on it, but I'm just saying that it's not genuine. It's not a genuine interaction. It's a manipulation. And the other thing too is that this may be another woman who is involved with the person that you are interested in, that you consider your soulmate, and you may feel like this person really doesn't love the person that you are um, feeling this spiritual bond to. But one thing, if there's anything remotely like that, please understand that the person that you want to be with, it's their responsibility to break off that relationship. And I think a lot of Scorpios are pretty good about that they do not wish to um, interfere with relationships, even if they feel that the other person is being mistreated in the relationship. They're not willing to do that because they feel that they wouldn't want that to happen to them. So anyway, what's coming in, or the advice, is the King of Wands. This is a card that you may just say to yourself, I'm going to get it together. Stand, I'm going to stand in my sovereignty. And that can mean that you are really self empowered, that you feel this sense of, unshakable power. Um, and in the context of this reading, this may be that you take a certain action. So with the Hermit, let's say you are married and you're contemplating divorce. You really feel like you're not with the right person, but you are afraid. You're afraid of the unknown. You're afraid of, what are people going to think of you? And then you catch yourself and you say, I'm not here for other people. I'm here to walk my own path. And the King of Wands is the captain of the ship. The King of Wands isn't like somebody else's, isn't somebody who is a follower. The King of Wands is a leader. And it's one of those things where the way that I look at it is that it kind of just happens where you step into your power. Um, you feel this sense of, I have the right to this. I think that's part of it, is people are afraid of, like, that they are being selfish, or they're being I don't know, things like that they're not thinking enough about the other party, and caring about that. But if you don't feel that you're with the right person, you're keeping that person from finding their soulmate. So if you think about it like that, it really is more altruistic than you might give yourself credit for. And the outcome is the Three of Pentacles. And this is a card of this is the architect's card, and that's why they show him building, because it's like you're building your life with a sense of structure. Um, you're building something that has a lasting value. Okay. I could get the Ace of Wands. I could get another card and it would be a fling. It would be more of something like that. Now, the King of Wands could be meeting somebody that is a Leo or a Sag, or an Aries. And I think especially with a Leo, I associate the King and Queen with Leos. I don't know if this is supposed to be Sag or not, but I associate it with Leo. And Scorpios really are attracted to Leo. So maybe this is a literal Leo that you can build a life with. And this is what the average Scorpio wants. You're not looking for a fling, you're looking for something substantial. Now, this may not be a new person. This may be that Six of Cups individual. I just hiccuped. Maybe it's somebody that you've already, um, you know, you know who this person is. But in case that's not the truth, if it's somebody that you happen to meet, then that's cool too. It's all good. And anyway, and also another thing too is that Neptune is in your fifth house of romance. So um, Neptune can even be like the soulmate. And the thing that Neptune went direct on November 28th, and so there may have been this disillusionment that you had with love for several months, and now you're back to this idealism, and that's a much better place to be. So I hope that you enjoyed this, Scorpio. If you'd like a personal reading, the link is below. I am primarily an astrologer. I'm doing readings for 2021. Some people like to have their natal chart interpreted. I have a combination reading, or you can just get one or the other. I have love readings, etc. Please visit the link below to see more information. Thank you for watching. Take care. Bye.